April 15th is always a meaningful day in the United States, and for baseball fans, it's Jackie Robinson Day. We celebrate that today at Turner Field. All the players will wear Jackie Robinson's league-wide retired number 42 as the Braves and Marlins play the third, final, and rubber game of our three-game series here in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, friends. Chip and Joe back with you. Let's see if the Braves can get back in the win column. The Marlins broke out the bats last night, and today, under cloudy skies, a couple of veterans get after it. Eric Stoltz for the Braves, Dan Herron for Miami.
Eric Stoltz had a good first outing for the Braves. Went 5 innings here in the home opener. Got no decision, but pitched well. I know he'd like to get a few more ground balls than he got in that first game, and hopefully pick up a win today. He'll go against Dan Herron, 34 years old. So they've both been around quite a while. Dan Herron, an excellent career record against the Braves at 6-2. He also has one save in his career. That came against Atlanta, and Chip will tell you more about that a little bit later. Dan Herron was a guy traded from the Dodgers with Dee Gordon in that big deal over the wintertime, and it was questioned whether or not he was going to go to Florida, that he might not even play again. He might retire. Well, after a chat or two with his family, who all live in California, he decided, you know what, I'm going to keep playing, and the Marlins are glad he did.
And guess what? The Dodgers are paying all $10 million of Dan Herron's salary this year, so the Marlins get Dan Herron for free. Let's see if Atlanta can make him pay, however, as they try to win this series outright. When we come back, Freddie Freeman is feasting on the fish. What a difference a year makes for the Atlanta first baseman. That and more with Paul Bird from the ballpark right after this.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
Welcome back, Braves fans, on Jackie Robinson Day. That sun is trying really hard to shine, but it's humid, so I'm sweating bullets in this suit. But here's the real question. Freddie Freeman, what are you doing different against the fish this year? tried to catch up with the locker room. He didn't want to reveal too much, didn't want things to change. But I can tell you this, as a pitcher, what ball you just saw hit the opposite way, now you're going to see one up the middle. And just when you think he's playing small ball, he unloads on one for a pull home run like that last night and just getting the job done. Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot. Look at the crazy difference in the first 14 games. Last year, 0.56, and then this year, the last 10 with a 325 average, getting the hits, the RBIs, and it couldn't come at a better time playing against one of your division rivals, the Fish. Way to get hot at the right time. Lineups coming up next. Starting pitchers, we'll be back.
The remarkable life and career of Jackie Robinson. He's our T-Mobile game changer. And Joe, he made his major league debut on this date in 1947 with the Dodgers.
And that is definitely a game changer, wouldn't you say?
Yes, sir.
And what he brought to Major League Baseball and to society in general. Great numbers, too. He wasn't just a, and I use the word, don't take this wrong, he wasn't just a token choice to come to the big leagues. This guy could play. Rookie of the Year, MVP, Hall of Fame. Jackie Robinson was a heck of a baseball player.
And he created havoc on the base paths in his big league debut. Reached on a sacrifice bunt and an error and scored the second of 2 runs on a late inning double that proved to be the game winning run against the Braves. Johnny Sane.
How about that?
On this date in 1947. So all the players will wear number 42, including the visiting Marlins, whose batting order is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Giancarlo Stanton had a big day yesterday. 4 RBIs, reached base all 5 times he made his way to the plate. And his average up to 231. We'll get a first look at JT Realmuto, the catcher for Jared Saltalamacchia. Dan Herron will pitch. And let's see if Eric Stoltz can start today's game, Joe, like he did last time out.
Career starts against the Marlins, 6 starts, 2 and 3, 5.29. That's pretty high. I mean, his batting average is pretty high. He gave up a real long home run to Giancarlo Stanton in Miami just about a year ago that we'll show you a video of later, but he's looking for better numbers against them today. His 4 keys to pitching success, well, it really involves 2 players. Martin Prado, who has great numbers against him, 10 for 26 with a homer, and maybe more importantly, Dee Gordon, the table setter for these guys. Eric's got to do a better job today than the Braves did last night of keeping him off the base.
D. Gordon had a couple of hits, 2 stolen bases, scored twice. In fact, has scored 2 runs and has stolen 3 bags in the 2 games so far in the series. And he grounds one up the middle. Simmons can't get it, and D. Gordon's coming to life. That gives him an 8-game hitting streak against the Braves. And immediately Stultz will have to go to the stretch with Ichiro coming up.
Okay, so now the cat and mouse game begins. Of he's on base, now what do? Hold him close. Keep throwing over, try to throw off his rhythm.
Ichiro had a hit and scored a run last night. And D. Gordon with a good lead at first, is 6 out of 7 in stolen bases. You might recall today's catcher Christian Bethancourt threw him out down in Miami. And a strike, says Alan Porter, who's got the plate today. That missed to Ichiro, a ball and a strike.
Eric's a 4-pitch pitcher. He doesn't overpower the hitters. He relies on contact and hopes that more of those ground balls like Gordon's are hit at people.
Runner goes. The pitch, a ball. The throw to second, a strike, and they're going to get Gordon. Bethancourt got him again with a perfect throw.
Boy, did he come out of there firing. Pretty good jump too against the left-hander. Look at the throw right on the bag.
So Bethancourt's gotten Gordon twice this year, and that changes the inning, as Ichiro now a 2-ball 2-strike count. In the air toward left, long run. Gomes near the fence. It hits off the top of the fence. No play for Johnny, and we'll do it again.
Good effort right on top of the wall, though. Foot goes right into the concrete that's unprotected down there at the bottom.
Ichiro's in the lineup for a 2nd straight game because Christian Yelich has a balky back. He flared up after he made a great catch here in game 1. Marlins are hoping he'll be good to go tomorrow when they head to New York. So you lose Yelich, but you pick up a man with 2,847 major league hits, and Ichiro off the bench. And Stultz struck him out. Good pitch. Ichiro corkscrewed himself in the left-hand batter's box. 2 out.
And he doesn't strike out much. That was a great pitch.
Well, you mentioned Stanton and Stultz in their personal history.
April 4th a year ago down in Miami. It's the one I was talking about, over the Budweiser Pavilion out there in left center field. 484 feet.
I'd say he got all of that one. And he didn't get all of this one. He skies it toward right. And that'll be playable for Cameron Maybin. He's got it in front of Kelly Johnson, the Braves right fielder, and Stultz works around a leadoff single from D. Gordon. And a look at Freddie Gonzalez's starting nine. That's presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Different look to the lineup. You're going to see this a lot of interchangeable pieces and parts. And Freddie will play the matchup game quite a bit. And today, Kelly Johnson, with his hefty average against Dan Herron, is hitting fifth and playing right field for the Braves.
And on the mound, 34-year-old Dan Herron out of La Puente, California, 6'5", 215, made a start against Tampa Bay in Miami on the 10th, went 6 innings, gave up only 1 run, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Those are his career numbers, outstanding career numbers. 20 games over 500, works quickly.
And Cameron Maybin takes the ball low. Maybin hit a leadoff homer on Friday against Jonathan Neese of the Mets. His second leadoff homer. Also had one while playing for the Marlins here against Tommy Hanson.
Herron likes to work quickly, but his delivery is not. It's very deliberate, almost comes to a complete stop when he kicks his leg in the air. That's very unique. Throws a fastball in the high 80s now and throws a lot of cutters off that, which makes it tough on left-handers, and has a good split finger pitch.
Three balls, 1 strike for Maybin. They've done a good job of scoring early in the game. They've scored 10 first-inning runs this year. That's most in the league. 7 of those 10, however, came against Matt Latos down in Miami. Full count. And Maybin draws a leadoff walk. So both leadoff men have reached. Let's see if Cameron can move along with Phil Gosselin coming up. Miami's off to a good start defensively. Their infield 4 has yet to commit an error. Ichiro's in left, Stanton's in right, Ozuna in center, and JT Realmuto is their young catcher. He gives Jared Saltalamacchia the day off. We'll see how he receives and throws for the Marlins today. Phil 1 for 6, but that hit a biggie. 2 out, 2 run scoring hit that won the game for the Braves.
That was a real quick move to the plate by Herron, almost a balk because he didn't pause.
And out of play to the right side by Gosselin. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Kind of weird to say this, but I can't wait to get to Canada to see the sun.
Yeah, good point. I thought we got real lucky last night not to have any rain delays. It came down very steadily from the 3rd inning on last night, but we got it in without delay. 1-1 pitch, and the Goose swung late.
Yeah, just a couple of miles away. I understand Georgia Tech got rained out. They had lightning over there that suspended the game. Couldn't finish it.
A ball, 2 strikes. And that's outside. 2-2. Braves are off tomorrow. We'll travel to Toronto and start our first long road trip of the season. Marlins will continue theirs. They head to New York, as I mentioned. Maybin a short lead at first, not going, and the pitch to Phil is low, and he's got a full count.
Well, it's a good take on Phil's part. It was a good take on Cameron's part on the ball 4 pitch on that split finger, that if he starts it at the knees, it's going to dip below the strike zone, and it's tough to lay off.
So let's see if Freddie Gonzalez sends Maben on a full count. Nobody out. Freeman on deck. He's going. And Gosselin bounces it foul.
There's a lot of similarities, I think, at this stage of Phil Gosselin's career that there were to Martin Prado. When Martin came up, he was considered a guy just a singles hitter, contact hitter, could play a couple of different positions and liked to play. And the more experience Martin got, the more confidence he gained. He just got better and better. Developed some pop in his bat too.
Phil had a 3-hit game last year against the Marlins on August 31st. And hit .266 with the big league club. And Joe, he fits right in with the organizational philosophy at the major league level because he is so versatile. Can hit virtually anywhere in order for you and can play pretty much anywhere you want him to on the field. Again the 3-2. Again the runner goes, and again Gosselin spoils it.
Boy, he pulled that one right out of Real Muto's glove. Late swing, good protection, just helping Cameron get loose.
Aaron ready for his 15th pitch. Again the runner goes, and it's grounded toward short. Echeverria from his knee will have one play, and Morris with a short hop makes the scoop at first. So putting the runner in motion saved a double play, and Gosselin almost guided that past the shortstop.
You know what? That's about the third or fourth time we've seen Morris dig out a tough hop. He's done a good job for his infielders over there. That's why they don't have any errors. Tough luck for Gosselin. Almost got it by him.
Well, that brings up Freddie Freeman with a chance to drive home the game's first run. Freddie hit a 4th inning homer here and has had much better luck against the Marlins this season than last year.
Well, I'll say. Got 10 more hits this year than he had at the same stage.
That's down the right field line. Did he keep it fair? He did not. Almost homers in back-to-back games for Freeman. He just missed.
Almost homered in back-to-back games. He backed Ozuna up to the center field wall 2 nights ago. Homered last night right there and just hooked that one a little too much.
Upstairs from Herron, 2 balls and a strike.
.81 on that one. He's got a curveball to go with his split and his cutter, and it's a real nice slow curve. Ooh,
just missed the inside corner, and he looked to his left thinking he had caught Freddie looking.
Man, I thought it was right down the middle. Not down the middle, but had the zone. Freddie gets a look on the house.
3-2. And that one just missed, and Herron exasperated again. That's 2 in a row he thought were perfect pitches. The first one had the zone and was called a ball. That one was also called a ball, and the Braves have 2 on.
ENC pitching performance says, yeah, he's got a reason to complain on both of them.
So 2 walks for Herron in the first inning, and Christian Bethancourt hits.
Christian's already contributed today by throwing out D. Gordon trying to steal in the first, top of this first.
Down the left field line. Did he keep it fair? Nope. High off the wall.
Man,
that's a couple of bolts from the Braves here early. But as you said, this is how Herron has to pitch. He's not going to overpower you. Kind of like Eric Stoltz, but from the right side.
that was just a low laser.
In the air toward left, but Ichiro is going to gather that in. And Suzuki makes the play for the second out, and Kelly Johnson bats. They're watching us from Russia today on the Armed Forces Network. Shane Kimbrough is a big Braves fan in the U.S. Astronauts program. Is training for his next mission on the International Space Station and is watching us right now from Russia.
That's great.
So dobre wieczór, towarzyszy.
What he said.
As Kelly Johnson is the batter with 2 on and 2 out. Good evening, friends in Russia and all of our servicemen and women around the world. Welcome to Seattle Southeast. One ball, no strikes. Shane Kimbrough was kind enough to give our traveling party a couple of years ago a tour of the NASA facilities in Houston, Texas. And man, oh man, was that something. The training tank for the International Space Station is a gigantic swimming pool. And to watch those guys do what they do, remarkable. Bouncing ball to first. Morris has it, and Dan Herron works around a couple of first inning walks. A scoreless inning in the books in soggy Atlanta. We head to the second. A 2015 is that year, but I think our fans are going to get to know Christian Bethancourt quite well as the season rolls along, and here's why. Our Toyota key play of the game.
Can't make a throw any better than that. Bethencourt came out firing, almost came out to get the baseball, and a quick release put it on the money.
Stoltz then struck out Ichiro and got Giancarlo Stanton to pop up to end the first. Now he'll chase down Martin Prado in the second. No surprise, Martin up to his usual tricks in this ballpark. He's had a good series. 3 hits, knocked in a run, he scored a run. And he's behind 0-2. To center, Maben broke in, now drifts back a step or two, and Prado's out number 1.
Yes.
Have another quick inning. Get Herron back out there and get the offense back up against him quickly.
As you look at Mike Morse, isn't it funny? All the players, of course, are wearing number 42. But isn't it funny how much bigger the numbers look on everybody else than Mike Morse?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Now, who was it Mariano Rivera was the last,
I believe so,
player to wear 42? He was grandfathered in.
To second. Easy pickup. And Morse is the second out.
Chase had him played perfectly.
Well, Stoltz's second start beginning quite similarly to his first. He was perfect in the first 3 innings last time out. He's faced the minimum so far through an inning and 2/3 and has Marcell Ozuna up now. He's shown he can hit the fastball. The breaking stuff's given him some trouble in this series. And that's off the plate ball too. Taking all the way, 3 balls and a strike. Ozuna flipped the bat away. He thought he earned ball 4. Now it's a full count.
Yeah, and the Marlins dugout reacting to that, saying that pitch was high. Aaron didn't get a couple of close ones.
Again to second, and instead of a walk, it's a 1-2-3 for Stoltz in the second inning. Johnny Gomes leads off for Atlanta. No score.
with home plate umpire Alan Porter. Didn't like the calls and the fastballs to Freeman. Unfortunately, I agree with Dan Herron. There were good pitches. But the first one, when he threw a strike, he made a huge deal out of it and really raised his shoulders and showed up the umpire. I think that's why he didn't get the call 3-2. So they're having a little chat about that in between innings. We'll see if he does a better job now.
What's a good way to go about that, Paul, so that you don't irritate the umpire, but you want to let him know that you thought they were good pitches?
You give him a half a second pause. The umpire knows when he misses a pitch. He's a professional. And you can let him know that you know he missed it by just pausing for just a second. If you sit there for 2 seconds and shrug your shoulders and lift your hands, that lets everybody in the stadium know what you think of the umpire, and they don't like it.
I guess it's the same thing for a catcher. If he disagrees with the call, as long as he's looking at the pitcher, no one in the ballpark knows what he's saying except the umpire, the catcher, and maybe the hitter, right?
Right. Just don't turn around.
And that's called third strike. Johnny Gomes retired on 3 pitches. And Herron has his first strikeout.
Jace Peterson batting down in the order today. I think that's a good move by Freddie Gonzalez as well, to take a little weight off of him to try to get on base. Move Gosselin into the 2 spot today.
Jace hitting .238. He's seen Herron before, most likely last year with, well, it was last year with San Diego when Herron pitched for the Dodgers.
Jace has hit in 3 straight games, though. 3 for his last 7.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Left-handers have actually hit lower against Herron in his career. 240 to 267 for right-handers, largely because of that good cutter he's had in his, like right there, all through his career.
Check swing strikeout. 2 of those in a row.
Doesn't move as much as a slider, but just enough to throw you off. And get it off the barrel and more onto the brand of the bat when you do swing.
Did you have to deal with cutters when you played?
I don't remember it.
No.
No, it was, I don't know who invented it or who, when it came along, but I know hitters are upset that it happened.
You say you probably wish they'd be imprisoned.
Yeah.
From a hitter's perspective.
Oh, the split finger was coming along.
Okay.
About the time I got out, and all those guys in Detroit could throw it. Roger Craig taught all those guys in Detroit, like Dan Petrie and Jack Morris and Milt Wilcox and some others on their staff. That's where that all started.
Simmons drives one towards Stanton and right, and Giancarlo will have an easy play. Better inning for Dan Herron. Got the Braves in order with a couple of strikeouts, and he's due third in the 3rd.
Monday morning, nice and easy, just throwing strikes. Looks like he's throwing a bullpen. He's a veteran. He's 35 years old and survived this game for a reason. After an okay outing, his goal was just to throw strikes. I had a chance to catch up with him before the game today.
You know, I think the main thing for me is to throw strikes. You know, I'm not a guy that's going to overpower a team, accumulate a lot of strikeouts, but it's just hopefully keeping them off balance, making them put it in play, and hopefully they hit it at guys.
It's kind of what he did with Marcell Ozuna. He was working the fastball away, went to 3-0, got a call to make it 3-1, and then got him to put the ball in play, like he said, and hit it right at Peterson.
He has. Keep in mind, he's given up a 484-foot home run to Giancarlo. I can tell you as a pitcher, that's a little embarrassing sometimes. So, you know, you can be a little gun shy, but he has done a great job of going right at everybody. He's fearless. He doesn't throw the hardest, but he mixes his pitches around and gets the job done.
But like you said, Paul, he looks comfortable, and he looks like he's just playing catch.
He does. There's a number of ways to get it done. Some guys are max effort. I know Leo Mazzoni told me one time, he said, you know, if you're not max effort and you're just nice and easy, you will last in this game a whole lot longer.
Good advice.
Well, this is our first look at JT Realmuto, the young catcher for the Marlins, their minor league player of the year last year. And he's an Okie out of Midwest City, Oklahoma, just 24 years young.
Yeah, same town as Matt Kemp, Ted Cox, A.J. Hinch, just a suburb of Oklahoma City, east of town. Good sports town. He was also, I'm told, a terrific quarterback at Carl Albert High School there. Led his team to a state championship. Fortunately for him, the Marlins came along and drafted him in the 3rd round and signed him and kept him from going to Oklahoma State.
Understand perfectly. They like him a lot. He's their catcher of the future. This is not his big league debut. He was up a couple of times last year, got in 11 games and had 7 hits. And Stoltz walked him to start the 3rd inning. Miami has to be relieved that Echeverria's bat's coming to life. He had a rough spring. He entered this series with 1 hit in his first 22 at bats. But he's gotten healthy in Atlanta with 4 hits, a couple of runs, and an RBI. And his first, beg your pardon, his first and second multi-hit games of the season for the Fish have come in this series. He had 44 such games last year.
Yeah, there was talk that they may even have to sit him down for a couple of days and let somebody else get in there and play shortstop that might put the ball in play a little better.
He bounces that one through the box up the middle, and the Marlins have him 1st and 2nd for Heron. Let's see how Mike Redmond plays it. Heron, if memory serves, is a pretty good hitting pitcher.
He is a good hitting pitcher. He was a very good hitting pitcher in college at Pepperdine. In fact, there was thoughts that maybe he would get drafted and signed as a hitter. Last year, only 3 sacrifices.
A 209 lifetime average for a pitcher. That's pretty impressive work. Braves think he's going to bunt. At least Freeman does. Look how close he is at first. Gosselin a step in at 3rd base. He does show bunt. And Bethancourt's throw back towards 2nd. Got through Simmons, actually hit him on the leg. And fortunately, the ball stayed on the infield. One ball, no strikes. Aaron got it down. It's going to stay fair. It's a sacrifice and a beauty. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out.
He made that look very professional, didn't he? I mean, he didn't even really square around that much, almost like he was butting for a base hit. Like Phil may be thinking about letting it roll, but that had enough of the grass that it was a smart idea by him to get the out.
You have to think about a bunt with D. Gordon. Remember, there's a catcher, though, running at third base. Gonsolin keeps Real Muto close at third. Freeman on the grass at first, and strike one to D. Gordon. Ichiro and Stanton to follow for Miami.
First inning when he got the base hit, it was hit between the mound and Andrelton Simmons. Simmons was playing him more in the hole than he is right now. The outfield shifted way over toward the left field line. Gomes and Maben.
Poked foul.
That was great. He looked bad on the pitch before, so they said, well, let's try that again.
Gordon had 600 plus at bats for LA last year, struck out about 100 times. He's in a hole here. 1 ball, 2 strikes, second and third, 1 out. And a base hit to left. That's going to score 1. Here comes Echeverria around third. Gomes' throw to the plate is cut off. And Gordon all the way to second with a 2-run scoring hit. And a walk and a single and a sacrifice turns into a Miami lead.
Boy, he's killing the Braves the last couple of days. And what a great start he is off to as a member of the Marlins. Got a pitch up. Let her high. So all he had to do was level off on it, slice it, and took advantage of the throw home by going to second base. Scoring at a double. That's a generous double.
Yeah, I thought it was a single and second on the throw, but
yeah.
I may revisit that.
It's already 6 RBIs for Gordon.
In this series. So Ichiro's the batter. As Joe mentioned, tough man to strike out, but Stoltz did his first time up. He'll pop him up in his second at bat. Maben's underneath, and Ichiro is 0 for 2. Gordon holds at second, and here's Giancarlo Stanton. Different look for the big Miami right fielder at the plate.
He said he did it, or was thinking about doing it in spring training against lefties, and then decided at the last minute last night to do it against McKirahan and not wear the protective cage. Likewise today against Stoltz.
Little tapper, that's going to twist foul. No balls and a strike.
More and more first pitch swings from him too.
Stanton tied with Dan Uggla for first place on the all-time Marlins home run list. Looking for number 155 to take over that top spot. 37 homers last year, tied his career high. He hit 37 homers in 123 games in 2012 with the Marlins. 37 in 145 games last year. Now to play.
Uggla, by the way, off to a 2 for 18 start with Washington.
Boy, the Nationals a disappointment, especially defensively. They've had real trouble catching the baseball. 3 more errors last night as the Red Sox scored 3 runs without a hit. Came back and won last night. Bouncing ball towards short. Shift was on. And Stanton and the Marlins are done in the top of the 3rd inning. A walk, 2 hits, and 2 runs puts Miami in front 2-0.
Dan Heron's delivery earlier. Being a pitcher, I'm salivating over here. You got to let me talk about it. A lot of times pitchers will rush out just like hitters, and it's hard to stay back. So there is a drill that you do with your pitching coach while you're throwing a bullpen where you start out and you don't have the baseball. You come to a pause, you hold it, you look at your pitching coach, he flips you the ball, and then you go forward. Not only is that delivery deceptive, but it was birthed out of working on trying to stay back.
And Chavarria got a nice hop on a wet infield and takes care of Stoltz for the first out.
It almost looks like that's what he's doing in his delivery on the field, Paul, because it's like he's looking toward third base when he comes to that pause.
Yeah, and when he works out of the stretch, obviously you can't come up to a pause or everybody will steal off you. So you have to have the ability to transfer that with a guy on base, not pause, and still throw strikes and keep rhythm.
Well, it's worked so far. Heron hasn't given up a hit. He walked Cameron Maybin to start the game. Freddie Freeman walked with 1 out, but the Braves could make nothing happen in the opening inning. It's low, 1 ball, 1 strike. So much was made of Dan Heron, and at first his reluctance or his wonderment about whether he should make the trek from Los Angeles to Miami and pitch this year for the Fish. Chance for D. Gordon, and he makes it to get Maybin for the second out. Was that a tempest in a teapot?
It sounds like it. It sounds like there was more made about it nationwide than there was actually going on between Heron and the Marlins, that it didn't take him long to make that decision to come to spring training and play for the club. So maybe a little overblown.
And let's face it, they really need him. No one could have predicted that Henderson Alvarez would come up with a bad shoulder. But even with Alvarez, they needed another guy to stabilize the rotation. Pitch innings. This guy's a gamer. He's a 10-game winner almost every year. Guy whose stuff will translate well to Marlins Park. roughly half of his starts. And especially so because they don't have their number one guy, Fernandez, quite yet.
Well, I know he's pitched well against Atlanta. He's given them fits when they've seen him.
6-2 with 1 save. Came in a wild game a couple of years ago between the Braves and the Washington Nationals, where Heron pitched. Another chance for Gordon to his left, and Heron is through 3 hitless innings with a 2-0 lead. Martin Prado leads off the 4th. But, Joe, you deserve a break. Today only compliments of the Braves Steal of the Week. Get field view seats to see the Braves and Nationals April 27th, 8th, and 9th. And the Reds on April 30th for only $15. That's a savings of over 50%. Go to Braves.com/steal to reserve your seats now. And remember, if you have any money left, you have to buy them today.
Your dad used to say when we started going to Washington, he just liked driving by the Treasury Department to see his money.
I could hear him saying it.
Huh. I wonder where the vault is.
Prado lined out his first time. This is an important series for the Marlins. They did not start the year well at all. They were 1-5 when they came to town.
Like Cahill last night, Eric's got to get that breaking stuff down. It's only going to be effective when it's downstairs and somebody pounds it in the ground. Those pitches up there, he's asking for trouble. As we saw on the pitch that D. Gordon hit to left.
And missed off the plate. Stoltz went 5 against the Mets. Like to see him take the ball a little deeper if possible today, at the very least. Well, a good thing Sugar Ray Marimon decided to have a great major league debut yesterday. He was really impressive, bailing out Trevor Cahill, who made his first start last night. And the importance of Marimon's debut is the Braves did not have to go through their bullpen. So all of those guys down there, with the exception of Marimon, ought to be pretty fresh and available, especially so with the off day tomorrow. Pitch number 9 coming to Martin Prado in this at bat. And he lost him downstairs. Walk number 2 for Eric Stoltz.
And leadoff walk last inning.
Yeah, 3 of the 4 innings they've put the first man on.
That leadoff walk last inning led to a 2-run inning.
When's Morse going to get his championship ring, I wonder? I don't know if he's gotten it yet. 131 games with the Giants last year.
Had a couple of big hits for him in the World Series, too.
Knocked in 4 runs. No balls and a strike. Simmons deep short. There's one. Peterson, a nice turn. Great start for Simmons, and then Jace got rid of it quickly. And a double play for out number 2.
Well, the turn was magnificent from Peterson, so quick, but it started with Andrelton knowing that it was going to be tough to turn it. Watch, he throws it from where he caught it. He didn't take the time to stand up and come over the top. He knew he had to get rid of it quickly, so throws it from where he caught it. Perfect feed for Jace. That was a nice one.
Yeah, you think of the defensive possibilities for the Braves with those 2 guys playing together for a couple of years. Peterson's already been very impressive in turning the double play, and we all know about the defensive wizardry of Andrelton Simmons. High ball 1. 1 ball 2 strikes for Marcell Ozuna. He bounced out to second his first time up. And that's in the dirt. Ozuna didn't get it. And Stoltz pitches around that leadoff walk. 8 straight Braves have been retired by Dan Herron. Let's see if Freddie Freeman can end that when we come back for the 4th inning. Up your child to attend the Atlanta Braves baseball camp, the ultimate major league experience for boys and girls of all abilities aged 5 through 13. Braves baseball camps offer 1-week sessions in locations around the Atlanta area. Go to braves.com/camps today.
Gwinnett lost a tough extra inning game last night. Already their 3rd extra inning game out of their first 6. Mike Foltynewicz made his 2nd start. Struck out 5, but 4 walks in 4+ innings.
That's under the glove of D. Gordon, who waited back. And Freeman's aboard to start the Atlanta 4th. And that's an error on Gordon.
First error on any of the infielders, and I know it sounded good and it probably looked good coming off the bat, but he had to realize right away that it wasn't hit that hard, and yet he still kind of olayed it. If he gets in front of it, he probably throws Freddie out with no problem.
So Herron back to the stretch for the first time since the first inning. And Christian Bethancourt bats, and he grounds to Echeverria. Might be two. There's one, and it is a double play.
Well, the Braves bats have gone quiet. I don't know if it just feels that way because they got 3 runs on 7 hits. That was enough to win game 1 of this series. They got 2 runs on 8 hits last night, and they fell behind early and couldn't catch up. But even the last game of the Mets series, 3 runs on 7 hits. So they're not exactly bunching them together. I know against the Marlins in game 1, they got them at the right time to get those guys across, but haven't strung any together in a while.
Kelly Johnson, bases clear, 2 outs. And I think that's the big challenge for the club. You figure they're going to pitch. Bullpen's been excellent. Starting pitching, first 3 spots, been very, very good. But you can't win if you don't score. Goes without saying. It's the way this offense is put together, it's tough to come back from, frankly, right now, a 3-run deficit without an awful lot of power in your lineup. You don't have that stacked thunderbolt potential. 1-2 pitch. That caught a corner, and Herron pitches around a D. Gordon error.
I think that conversation Herron had with Mr. Porter earlier paid dividends.
Sumter Braves, South Carolina A-ball team, a team that featured Glavin. You had Blauser on that team. Who else? Ron Gant,
Mark Lemke. We just had the crew of players that worked themselves right up through the system. As we know, it's a great system, and they ended up being world champions.
I tried to sit between them. They wouldn't let me. Married for 32 years. Chuck and Debbie Martin, also the parents of Cody Martin, got to be extremely proud for you to see your son out there in the big leagues.
It's an unreal opportunity. We grew up watching TBS and doing the tomahawk chop in the front living room, and ever since Cody was little, that's, you know, we live Braves baseball out in California, and we have a lot of fans out there, and so it's just, Cody asked me, what's it like, Dad, to be in the ballpark and watch the game. And I didn't even have words that I can say. I was numb. I'm still numb.
That's fantastic. And, Mom, I'm sure you're proud, too. But I've played A-ball. I know everybody's hurting for money. And I understand that in 1984, you were the personal hairdresser for Tom Glavine, and you got to work on that mullet. Is that true?
I did. Back then, you know, there wasn't a lot of money in A-ball. And my uncle had taught me how to cut hair. And so I used to cut the players' hair back in Sumter, South Carolina. And that was 30 years ago.
So that was the mullet. I had one too. That was in the 80s. Business up top, party in the back.
Right.
And she had, but it was a lot less gray back then, I think. Is that right?
Yes, there wasn't a lot of gray back then. Yeah, everyone had a lot of hair back then.
Well, congratulations on having a successful marriage in this game, having a son that's in the big leagues, flying in from California, and getting to share that special moment of watching him pitch in the field. I don't want to jinx him, but so far he has been fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. And it's one of those lifetime opportunities. About a year and a half ago, we were actually outside the stadium looking inside, and we just were talking out there and reminiscing about, you know, in 2 years, Cody, he goes, Dad, I'm going to be in there. I'm going to be inside that field. I'm going to take on the adversity, and I'm going to work really hard, and we're going to make it happen. It's kind of gone full circle. He's able to do something that I was never able to do, and it's just a dream come true.
Fantastic. Back to you, Chip and Joe.
Hey, Paul, will you describe that mullet for me again?
Business up top, party in the back, Billy Ray Cyrus. You could put it behind the ears. You could go with it over top like Joe Dirt, however you wanted to do it. But people make fun of it, but it was actually a fashion statement in the 80s, and it was in.
Can you ask Cody's mom who used the most hair product on that team? It had to be Blauser. There's not a doubt in my mind.
So Chip has done his homework. Chip Carey, he's the best. He says that Blauser used the most pomade, I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly, to style all those curls. Is that correct?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, they used lots of product back then, but it wasn't the things they use now, but it was stuff to keep it all down.
I think it was a bucket of grease.
Bucket of grease, Crisco, whatever works. Yeah. But hey, great information. Way to do your homework, Chip. A lot of fun here today. We'll see if Cody's able to continue pitching so well. We're all pulling for him. He's been outstanding.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Great job, Paul. That's got to be a thrill for Cody and his mom and dad. I love the story. Looking inside the stadium, a couple of years I'm going to be there. Well, he dreamed it. It's come true, and he's pitching great. Out of the Braves bullpen.
Yeah, I'm just glad that they didn't lose him. You know, he was exposed to the Rule 5 draft in the wintertime, and nobody took Cody, and that was a real bonus for Atlanta.
Echeverria down 2 strikes. Real Muto double to start the inning, and now a drive toward left. Gomes is going back, still going back, and that ball is gone. Danny Echeverria is blowing up in Atlanta. A 2-run homer. Another 2-hit game. That's 3 in a row for him. And the bottom of the Miami order is punishing the Braves today. It's 4-0 in the 5th.
He hit 1 homer all year last year. And it came on an 0-2 pitch. That was up. Mentioned last inning that Eric had to get the ball down. See, another thing on Real Muto's double. I was watching him run. He was a shortstop in high school. I mentioned he was a high school quarterback, and he's a lot faster than most catchers.
So Dan Herron staked to a 4-run lead in the 5th inning. Real Muto, a walk, a double, and 2 runs. Echeverria, a single and a 2-run homer. Those men have accounted for all the offense. And now a real test for the Braves. They've fallen way behind again. They were down 4-0 last night. And Herron, a ground ball to short. Simmons has it. And an easy peg to first for out number 1.
Well, it's going to be on the offense now to string some of those hits together. Middle of the ball game, time to peck away at that deficit.
D. Gordon's been a tough out. He's already knocked in 2 runs. He has 2 hits. looks low at ball one.
I'd say he's got something figured out and having a great series.
He was a terrific basketball player in high school at Avon Park, Florida. Didn't play baseball until his senior year in high school. I'd say he chose wisely. Full count. To left, Gomes had him played perfectly, and he's got it for the second out. And that'll bring up Ichiro, who's 0 for 2. Mentioned the Marlins are heading to New York to play the Mets. The Mets injury ravaged last night. And a big blow for them. David Wright injured his hamstring sliding into second base. He's supposed to have an MRI today. It's likely that David Wright will go to the disabled list. And Michael Kadire was also hit on the hand yesterday by a pitched ball. They lose those two guys offensively for any length of time. That would be disastrous for New York. Ichiro is 0 for 3. Stoltz gives up a 2-run homer to Adeiny Echeverria, the 8th place hitter, and the Marlins have doubled their lead. It's now 4-zip. North, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, for our first look at the youthful and very talented Toronto Blue Jays. That series starts at Rogers Center Friday night at 6:30 Eastern, followed by games on Saturday and Sunday, both beginning at 12:30 Eastern time, with Braves Live presented by Xfinity. Braves and the Blue Jays. Catch it all on Fox Sports South.
They can score. They've gotten off to a 4-4 start. Braves will see Drew Hutchinson, who was their opening day starter, then the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey, and then Daniel Norris. I don't know Norris. Do you know Norris?
I don't.
Do you, Laser? You know Daniel Norris? Oh, you play golf with him?
Oh, you know what?
Honey Creek?
Yeah, Brian Woodrum, our producer, had a great point. He reminded me, Norris is the guy who signed a big bonus with his major league contract, and as Gomes pops one into shallow center, T. Gordon says he's got it. Norris lives in his van.
Oh, yeah.
He's the guy that lives, I think it's a Volkswagen van or something like that.
Yeah.
He lives right by the ballpark. That's
okay.
And he calls his van Shaggy. So that'll be a great story that we'll pass along to you in more detail when we get to Canada.
read a little bit about that in spring training, but I didn't connect the two names.
Jace Peterson, strike one. And I think you're right, Joe. The strike zone has loosened up for Alan Porter after the first inning.
Yeah.
Braves do not have a hit. But you like the Blue Jays. You looked them on paper and like their team.
I picked them in the AL East. I think they'll win the East.
Toward first, that is a foul ball. Fans in the States who don't see Toronto an awful lot will have a chance to see one of the game's great sluggers, Jose Bautista, who plays for Toronto. Jose Reyes on that club, of course. We won't see Mark Burley, one of the game's fastest workers and one of the best left-handed pitchers in recent memory. He's got 200 wins, and the style of pitching he employs, he might be a guy that could get to 300. It's a long ways away.
Yeah, he could.
Ground ball to second. Gordon gave ground, played that one nicely, and got Peterson for the second out.
They also went out and signed Russell Martin. Give them a little stability behind the plate for some of their young pitchers. That was a good sign. He had done a great job, I thought, with the Pirates.
So Rogers Center is their home park. It used to be Skydome. They put in a new artificial surface up there, and they're planning to transition to a natural playing surface in a couple of years. I'm sure the players are thrilled about that. And Heron a strike. He's getting everything over now after some struggles in the opening inning.
Yeah, in which he threw 28 pitches, and coming into this inning, innings 2, 3, and 4, he'd only thrown 29 total.
And that takes care of the no-hitter. Simmons with a single with 2 outs. And that appears to be the end of the line for Stoltz. I think Alberto Callaspo's grabbed a bat and he'll pinch hit.
And the son of the couple we were talking to just a minute ago, Cody Martin, loosening up.
Stoltz went 5 hits, 4 runs, a couple of strikeouts, a couple of walks, and the big home run to Echeverria. Callaspo had a nice run working before he ran into an 0 for 4 last night. Strike one. Morris at first, tumbles to the grass, gets to his feet, and makes a nice play. Boy, Joe, you're right. They are much improved defensively with the big man Michael Morse over at first base. Braves break up the no-hitter, but still trail 4-zip. Braves Steal of the Week. You can get field view seats to see the Braves and Nationals April 27th, 28th, and 29th. And then the Cincinnati Reds on April 30th. Those tickets will be just $15 each. That's a savings of over 50%. Go to Braves.com/steal to reserve your seats now. And remember, you must buy those tickets for the Nationals and Reds series at the end of the day today.
Cody Martin's been outstanding. This is his 5th appearance. He's worked 5 1/3 innings of 2 hit, no run, no walk baseball with 9 strikeouts. And man, is he a strike thrower, and it's going to be hard to sit still over there in that section.
Martin, part of a very stingy Braves bullpen. Braves 2nd in the league in ERA, 4th in opponents' batting average. They haven't allowed a homer. The relief corps 2nd in strikeouts and 5 saves. Also paces the National League. Remember, there are 4 rookies in Roger McDowell's bullpen.
Stanton back with the cage.
Right-hand pitcher. Ooh, get it. It's a good hook.
69-mile-an-hour hook. Throws everything for strikes.
And Stanton is down swinging.
Beautiful hooks to him. 10 strikeouts for him now. In 5 2/3.
That just missed for Prado. Cody Martin, for the most part, has been a lifetime starter in the minor leagues. 100 career minor league games, 67 starts, 26 wins, a 3.0 ERA. If the Braves have questions or issues in the 4 or 5 spots in the bullpen, I would think he'd be a logical candidate to get stretched out.
I was just going to say he might be a starter again.
Bad throw, but a great scoop by Freeman. Prado's out number 2.
Phil Gosselin, usually very sure-handed and an accurate thrower, got saved by Freddie there. These guys appreciate their first baseman.
Morse is 0 for 2. He's hitting to a double play. 4-0 Marlins. We're in the 6th. And ball outside. All the National League action is under the lights tonight. Phillies will be in New York again. Mets won 6-5 last night. Behind Matt Harvey. Fly ball deep left. At the track, at the wall, and that one is long gone. Michael Morse with a towering home run to left. His first road home run since last July. And on a 1-1 pitch, his first homer of the year makes it 5-0 Fish.
We've talked about his immense power, and last night he hit a ball to deep center when he got fooled on a pitch. This was a breaking ball, not a bad pitch. Looked like maybe he was looking for it, sitting on it. Big strong man.
Up the middle for Simmons to his left. And that takes care of the Marlins. Top of the Atlanta order has to get to work now. The lead for the Miami Ball Club, 5-0 in the series wrap up. Bottom of the 6th inning, top of the order is coming up against a man, Joe, that's doing something he doesn't usually do that often, and that's pitch well in the sunshine.
Yeah, his record 2-5 with a 6.05 ERA in 7 starts last year. Got hit pretty hard. Not today.
2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th for Herron, who didn't allow his first hit until Anderson Simmons with 2 outs last inning.
The first inning was funny, though. He walked 2 guys. One he certainly disputed when he walked Freddie Freeman, but then Bethancourt, like Freeman, hit a rocket off of him, just happened to hook it foul. He was able to retire Christian on a line drive to left. Got Kelly Johnson, and Braves haven't had much cooking since.
Yeah, Freddie's ball, right size, wrong shape down the right field line, and then Bethancourt hit the top of the fence right at the 335 mark down the left field line. Might be a different game had those balls stayed fair, but they didn't. Bounds into the Marlins dugout. It's foul to the right side by Cameron. Still a full count. High in the air, deep toward left. Ichiro on the run at the track, and that ball's gone for Maben.
Herron's kind of standing there in disbelief, but I thought that looked like a hanging breaking ball of some kind. And Cameron didn't miss it. His second homer. There's one of them back. That wasn't a breaking ball. Something that was riding high and into Cameron.
That takes care of the shutout. The Braves need 4 to tie. As Gosselin thought about a bunt. Not a bad idea with Prado back at third, but he bunted it foul. Strike 1. That's the 7th home run for the Braves this year. As Joe said, Maben's got 2 of them. And on the check swing appeal at first, Gosselin down a second strike.
Gentleman over there, I'm sure at the game here with his daughter, had that one drop out of his hand into the lower deck. And there's the recipient of that bad hop.
So 2-2.
That way, Phil. Good battle. Get a leadoff homer. Now you're the leadoff guy. Get on any way you can.
He's worked it full. Ninth pitch. And Gosselin will see a 10th. Braves are trying to do to Herron what they did to Shelby Miller.
Yeah, just wear him down. He had a good at bat the other night against the Mets before he delivered that 2-run single that won the ball game.
This one, those popped up. And Morse has it behind the first base bag, and there's your first out. So Herron eventually won that battle. Here's Freddie Freeman. He's reached on a walk and a D. Gordon error in the first and fourth inning.
Freddie played in every game last year. Played in 1,449 innings, which is a franchise record.
2 outs. I think it'll be interesting to see when the Braves get to Toronto who DHs. Modern players today, not many of them play on the artificial surface. Last year, the Braves could really mix and match. It was a great advantage because they could play Bethancourt behind the plate, and Evan Gattis could be your DH. Perfectly suited to do that. See how Freddie rotates that spot. Guessing Johnny Gomes will see some action.
Yeah.
Kelly Johnson.
Brzezinski might.
Yep. I think that's one of the fun things about this team, even for the broadcasters. When you get to the ballpark, you really don't know who's going to play or where that guy's going to play. I mean,
yeah, but it all makes sense.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Like today when we came.
I
mean, Cameron Maben's a leadoff guy. Phil Gosselin moved to the 2 spot. Is a good 2-hole hitter. He puts the ball in play. So all of it made sense coming to the park today.
And Maben's rewarded Freddie Gonzalez with his 2nd home run of the season. It led off the 6th. However, Dan Herron and the Marlins lead 5-1 as we go to the 7th.
Stuff, low price every day.
7th inning. Marlins 5, Braves 1. Paul Bird, Joe Simpson, Chip Carey. Our crew with you from Turner Field on Jackie Robinson Day. TJ Realmuto is the batter and grounds one up the middle. He's been on base 3 times, a walk, a double, and a single.
When the scouts saw him play, he was a shortstop in high school in Oklahoma City, and in one summer league game they happened to see him catch, and it struck them that, you know what, this guy's got good hands, good feet, he's quick, he might make a pretty good catcher. We might make him into a pretty good catcher as opposed to shortstop. He's 6'1", and at the time probably kind of lanky. They thought maybe he was a little too big to play shortstop, so that was pretty good perception on the part of their scout.
Echeverria has had a big day today. It's his birthday as well. He's singled, he's homered, he's knocked in 2, and he has scored 2.
Born in Santiago, Cuba. He's 26.
Strike. Read somewhere earlier in the week that there's some talk that Major League Baseball would like to try to play some exhibition games in Cuba next year, should the political situation avail itself of that opportunity. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Got to be a trade-off there. I mean, we'll send you some Major League games. You send us cigars. Okay? Is that a deal? They may want some new cars down there too.
Or parts. 2 balls and a strike. And that's in for an even count. The Braves have a Cuban connection on their bench. Both Freddie Gonzalez and Carlos Tasca, his bench coach, were born in Cuba. Two and 2. And that was low. I think it was the Orioles. Did the Orioles play the Cuban national team?
Yes.
That's the matchup.
Boy, did that raise a stink.
Yeah. Yep.
There were some Cuban-born coaches in the major leagues that threw a hissy fit about that because they were around when the revolution took place.
3-2 count. Runner goes line drive left field. Echeverria's having himself quite a birthday. He's 3 for 3. And Realmuto stops at second. The bottom of the orders killed Atlanta today.
Well, the whole series really, I mean, when they were talking about maybe putting somebody else at shortstop to try to generate some more offense from someplace in the lineup, Echeverria was the guy that they thought he might have to sit down for a couple of days since he was only 1 for 22. He must have gotten wind of that.
So 3 straight multi-hit games for Echeverria. 7 hits in the 3-game series.
Chances are pretty good here that Herron's going to be bunting again. He's going to have a chat with Brett Butler since it's just a 4-run lead at this point. So let's see if the Braves put on a play. A defensive play.
Phil Gosselin with the defensive signals from third base. Aaron's got a sacrifice today. More importantly, he's got a 5-1 lead. Aaron pulled the bat back. And Gosselin very happy about that. He was close enough to shake hands. 0-1. When
the pitcher squares that early, there is a little thought in the back of your mind that he's got time to pull it back and swing by showing it that early.
Ready to swing again. Strike two. And Herron couldn't get it down. He's down on strikes. Boy, did you see how Freddie Freeman charged at first base there? He came down the line, and as Martin got ready to make the pitch, Freddie sort of circled around toward the front of the pitcher's mound.
He was going to cut that bunt off.
Yeah.
He was going to go over there to the third base side if he had to get this bunt, because he knew that he was going to try to push it down the third, pull it down the third baseline.
So Herron can't get a bunt down, and that'll be the last pitch thrown by Cody Martin today. His mom and dad are here, and he gave up a run in his inning at 1/3 of work.
Georgia Power, and Zaxby's.
Braves take on the Nationals April 27th, 28th, and 29th, and we invite you to take advantage of some great ticket offers. Terrace level seats are $8 on great sports clips, $8 Mondays, and club level seats are only $12 on the Coca-Cola $12 Tuesday deals. Visit Braves.com/specials for the lowest ticket prices and best deals for this 2015 season.
Luis Avilan's done a great job since he's been used in the beginning of the season, particularly in Game 1. We got that double play ball that the Braves desperately needed down in Miami. No runs allowed in 2 2/3 innings, no walks. And he'll be asked if he can get D. Gordon out.
Gordon's 2 for 3. First and second, one out, top of the order for the Fish. Ichiro next. And a bouncing ball towards second. Peterson to Simmons, one, has to hurry, and they got him.
How, by the way, flew across second base. Man, oh man.
You want a reason to come watch the Braves besides good baseball? Come watch Andrelton Simmons. And this one might be challenged by the Marlins at first base. A bang play erased D. Gordon. And the Marlins looked at the video, and the call was apparently correct by Mark Ripperger at first base. Double play sends us to the stretch. 5-1 Fish. And Herron firing a 2-hitter at the Braves offense today. Time for our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Joe got it right last night.
I'm hotter than a dancing bobcat.
Yes, you are. Name the only Dodger to wear number 42 after Jackie Robinson retired.
Okay, well, we have to go back to like 1957 or 8. Wow. I have a question. We usually get denied on our
the old no hint rule.
Yes.
Kelly Johnson jumps on the first pitch, drives that deep right. Stanton's back. Goodbye, home run, Kelly Johnson.
Kelly was having a good at bat back in the 4th inning and got rung up for a called 3rd strike where he flipped his bat away, you might remember. He felt like he got shortchanged. Not this time. Fastball down the middle. Might have been a cutter that didn't cut. Anyway, my question, now what are we doing? They're looking in their own dugout like they're waiting for somebody to come out, like they're going to make a defensive change almost.
Could the Marlins be questioning whether that was a boundary call home run?
Could be, but if it bounced back, Stanton would have a good idea. Yeah, it bounced in the seats and came back. So we're good to go.
That's Kelly Johnson's first home run in this ballpark since May 15th, 2010, when he played with Arizona.
Huh.
And he's now 14 hits away from 1,000. The Braves' last 4 runs have come on solo homers in this series. 2 by Freeman and AJ yesterday. Mabin and Kelly Johnson today.
One of the other things it might have been, not so much questioning whether it was home run or not, is they had to send somebody to the bullpen to perhaps get somebody up, and maybe their phone wasn't working. Back within 3. 2-0 count.
And a strike to Gomes. So again, the trivia question: who wore 42 after Jackie Robinson?
I'm curious. I mean, could it be a coach or was it an actual player? It was a player.
It was a player. Okay.
That was a quick response from the truck on that one, so it must be so off the charts.
Obscure.
We'll never get it. So.
And Gomes is down on a breaking ball. That's 5 strikeouts from Herron today. And 1 out. Here's Peterson. Now, usually when you guess a Dodger trivia question, you can say Jaime Herrin, you can say Vin Scully. That's not going to work with this trivia question today. Looking forward to seeing Mr. Scully next month. Braves head out to LA. Visit the Dodgers on May the 25th. We had the good fortune of being in Los Angeles last year, you might remember. As Peterson rips one to Morse at first. Great play. Pitcher to the bag. 2 outs.
He's been pretty good over there, hasn't he?
I'm sold.
Yeah. Nice play.
But we were in LA when Vin Scully announced he'd be coming back to broadcast Dodger games this year, and there were 50,000 people. And as loud as that roar was, you might have thought that the entire city of LA was in the ballpark. That was spine tingling. And he still sounds great. As you'd expect, Simmons didn't get it. Strike 1 for the Braves shortstop, who's got 1 of the 3 Atlanta hits today. to short. Echeverria wasn't sure. Loads up and throws to first in time. And that sends our game to the 8th inning. Kelly Johnson has homered for the first time this year. That cuts the lead to 5-2.
I think it's a little bit of sun glare in their eye. Well, just glare.
Dad, what's that big orange thing up in the sky? I haven't seen it in Atlanta for a while. As you see, our friends at Delta Airlines, they'll get us from city to city all summer long. We'll head to Toronto late tomorrow afternoon. You can follow the Braves all year long with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or your tablet. If you're making your way to Canada for that series with us, make sure you have an international data plan. Just trying to help you out.
Thanks.
Ichiro 0 for 3 today, playing for Christian Yelich. This guy's got to be a Hall of Famer, doesn't he?
I think so.
Over 4,000 professional hits, counting 1,278 he had in Japan.
That won't help him at Cooperstown.
No.
But I think the so-called body of work, pretty darn good.
That season he had in Seattle, where he hit 370 something.
Yeah, 2004.
Yeah, 372. 704 at bats, 262 hits.
225 of them were singles.
His on-base percentage, .414, with 704 at bats. Scored 101 runs for a great Seattle club. Stanton grounds towards short, and he'll be an easy out. And there's out number 2.
Guys, I have to talk to you about Ichiro being a pitcher that faced him. He was phenomenal. I remember Peter Gammons and some others, they weren't really sure when he came over how good he was going to be. A lot of people thought he was going to hit 270, 280. And he dismissed those rumors immediately, hitting well into the threes, leading the league. So I agree, you can't count what he did in Japan, but I do think he needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Martin Prado with 2 outs. Thanks, Paul. And Joe, you made the point last night watching Ichiro take batting practice. I mean, this guy has tremendous power. I mean, he could hit 20, 25 home runs if he wanted to, right?
Yeah, I think he could have back in his
in his day, right?
Yeah. If he'd gone to New York and played in old Yankee Stadium in his prime, he'd hit a bunch of homers. No, I begrudge the Japanese players, especially one like Suzuki, who had 1,000 hits in Japan, coming to the U.S. and being eligible for the Rookie of the Year. That doesn't make sense to me.
Like Hideo Nomo and Chipper,
yes.
right?
Yeah,
right.
That doesn't make sense to me.
And in that case, you might as well call the award the best first-year player as opposed to the best rookie.
Yeah.
Rookie means not professional at the top of your league.
Right.
As Prado a 2-2 count. Avilan's pitching good ball into the 8th inning. A double play ball to end the 7th. 2 ground outs here in the 8th. 5-2 Miami. It's late.
Yes, he did.
Ask him. Yep, he did. Good call. All you have to do is ask. And the Braves did and were rewarded. Prado out on a check swing strikeout, and Avilan an inning and 2/3 of perfect relief. Braves will go to their bench in the 8th, down 3. Clips of the game.
And today it's Adeiny Echeverria on his birthday, having himself quite a day. 3 hits, 2 singles, a homer, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs, and he has snapped out of his first week slump in a big way here at Turner Field in these 3 games.
Well, we still got some time. But Mike Dunn stands in the way of a Braves comeback. Dunn works the 8th. They'll face Eric Young Jr. leading off. As sunshine starts to peek through here at the ballpark. Maybe that's a hopeful omen for the Braves. Trail 5-2.
Only 1 hit allowed by Dunn in 3 1/3 innings, and that was a homer.
Well, Herron did it to the Braves again, didn't he? 7 innings, 2 runs.
Yeah, he got pretty much in a rocking chair after the first inning.
And Young is down on 3 pitches. Last 4 Atlanta runs have been solo homers. Here's one of them. Cameron Maben with our Zaxby's indescribably good play.
Leading off the 6th. Pulled his hands in. He's been working so hard on trying to shorten his swing. There's a good example and good results of getting your hands inside the baseball and getting the barrel to the ball.
told the story before, but for those of you who haven't heard it, Maben was with the Padres when he watched one of the spring training telecasts on one of the national networks of the Braves out in Arizona. And he really liked what Kevin Seitzer was talking about in his training methods for the ball club. And Maben decided to incorporate those hitting habits, if you will. Those drills with the permission of Mark Kotsay, who was with the Padres. And 2 weeks later, Cameron Maben found himself traded to the Braves. And he showed up down in Miami. He was already very familiar with what Kevin Seitzer was doing, what the Braves' game plan was, and has felt very comfortable ever since. Two balls and a strike. It was a big-time prospect. It was originally with the Tigers and was traded for Miguel Cabrera. Blockbuster deal between the Marlins and Tigers a few years ago. Popped up toward foul ground at first. Morse is going to get there right at the railing. And Maben is out number 2 in the 8th inning.
That was a case on a good fastball, 95 fastball, where he tried to kind of muscle up on his swing. And when you do that, when you're trying to swing almost as hard as he's throwing it, it slows everything down. The barrel of the bat will drag a little bit. So he was really pulling with that left side, flew open a little bit. And that's generally the result, because the barrel head will dip a little bit and you get under the ball.
2 outs, bases empty for Phil Gosselin. And a strike. Mike's always had a good arm.
Just a matter of him throwing strikes, corralling it a little bit. No walks for him this year. He has hit a batter. That was his 7th strikeout.
Up the middle. Echeverria, look at him range to his left. And he makes a marvelous play to end the 8th inning. Danny Echeverria, cumpleaños feliz indeed. He's having a great birthday in Atlanta. And this game goes to the 9th, 5-2 Miami.
is presented by the Georgia Lottery and Toyota.
Well, hopefully the Braves can make it a happy birthday with a comeback win as we head to the 9th inning. It's a 5-2 Marlins lead. Let's get back to our AT&T Uverse trivia question. This was a tough one. Who's the only Dodger to wear number 42 after Jackie Robinson retired?
I'm going to say it's a pitcher, but I have no idea who it is. So I was torn between Clem Labine and somebody like that. So I'll stick with Clem Labine.
I'm going to throw a wild card answer at you. I'm going to say Juan Marichal, who came over and pitched for the Dodgers. And Ray Lamb is the answer.
He was a pitcher. Do I get half credit?
Yeah, of course.
His last name started with an L.
I like it. You know what that means? Counts as an L for everybody else.
The answer to that is no.
No, of course. And that'll stretch out the standings a little bit. Hopefully.
I'll bet a bunch of you folks at home got it.
What an amazing honor, though, for Major League Baseball. No one else will ever wear 42. That was one of former Commissioner Bud Selig's pet projects to honor the legacy of Jackie Robinson. On this date, the anniversary in which he debuted in the major leagues and scored the winning run against Johnny Sain and the Braves. 1947. Pitch to Morse, and no swing that time. 3-1 from Brandon Kinniff.
Kinniff's getting some work. This is his 6th game out of the first 9. Worked last night. 2/3 of an inning, a walk and 2 strikeouts.
Steve Cishek is the Marlins closer. He begins to loosen. Atlanta saw him down in Miami and pounded him, but it wasn't a save situation.
No, they lit him up. It's going to take him a while to whittle on that ERA that is sitting in the 30s right now, I think. 33.75.
Morris walks. Well, luckily for Cishek, he doesn't have the staff lead in that category. I think that still belongs to Matt Latos. And here's Ozuna, man aboard, and nobody out.
Kinniff's done this. That's at least the 3rd time that he's come in and walked the first guy and then went lights out, struck out a couple of guys to get out of the inning.
Out of play foul. All that heavy work has resulted in the fact that the Braves starting pitchers haven't gone 7 much in the early days of the season. Stoltz went 5 today. Cahill 2 1/3. Shelby Miller went 5, albeit with the rain delays. Alex Wood got to 6 2/3 against Bartolo Colon. Tehran 6+. Stoltz 5 in his first start. Miller 5 in his first start. Wood 5 in his first start. So a little extra pressure on the Braves bullpen to pick up an extra inning or 2 until those starters settle in and we hope get on a roll. And swept off the plate, a ball and 2 strikes.
One of the things that did not happen or has not happened today was the Braves' ability to get into the Marlins bullpen early where they might see Carter Capps again, because I wanted to hear Paul Bird's assessment of Capps and his delivery where he jumps down the mound.
I don't know how it's legal. I know they've offered an explanation as to why it's legal, but when you slow it down, it sure looks like he's breaking the rules with every pitch. McInniff, after jumping ahead 2 strikes, has run it full 3-2. Can't give them any more. The Braves have the 3, 4, and 5 hitters coming up in the 9th inning. Gotta throw strikes. He lost him. Back-to-back walks in the 9th.
Yeah, we had him 0-2. JT Realmuto has had a good day in his first game back from the minor leagues. 2 for 2 with a walk, 2 runs scored.
These last 2 days have been much needed for the Miami offense. Not done much. Bouncing ball left side. Tricky hop. Simmons stayed with it. Peterson will try to turn it, but no chance. And Joe, you're right. Realmuto gets down the line in good shape. That ball looked to me like it hit the lip of the grass. And Simmons, with his quick reactions, was able to get a force play at second for the first out.
Well, Gosselin was going to the ball. It almost looked like he got called off by Simmons, which is the third baseman's got to take what he can get to. His momentum's going to second base. Andrelton's was going to his right. Not that they would have turned it, but it's going to be an easier play for Gosselin.
Echeverria takes a strike. He has 3 career 4-hit games. He had one September 26th in Washington. 2 singles and a 2-run homer this afternoon for the Marlins shortstop. Three other major league shortstops had 3 other major league shortstops had 3 4-hit games last year. Eric Ibar, Eduardo Escobar, and Hanley Ramirez. 1-1 pitch. And now Echeverria down to his last strike.
Excellent fastball from Kenneth. That one at 94. That one had a little tail on it that ran in on Echeverria's hands.
Two and two. Remember all the heat the Marlins took for that blockbuster deal they made with Toronto that saw Bonifacio, Burley, Josh Johnson, Jose Rios go to Toronto. They got a king's ransom in return. And this man, one of the centerpieces of the deal. Anderson Alvarez, Anthony DeSclafani, Escobar, Jeff Mathis, Jake Marisnick, and left-handed pitcher Justin Nicolino came back from the Jays, as well as a lot of payroll going up to Toronto. In the air center, Maben going back. What a day for Echeverria. A sacrifice fly, an RBI. The runner tags at second, or at first, and moves to second. And Morse will score, giving Echeverria a 3 RBI day today. And the leadoff walk hurts. It's 6-2, and that'll bring up Reed Brignac. He'll bat for Dunn.
Brignac spent some time with Tampa Bay and almost made this club coming out of spring training. Was called up after Kelly broke his finger the other day.
Brignac's out of St. Amant, Louisiana. Broke into the bigs in 2008 for 4 games with the Rays. Played with Colorado, the Yankees, the Phillies, and now the Marlins in the big leagues.
Yeah, so he comes by that name Brignac. Quite honestly, if he's from St. Amant.
Rays opening day shortstop in 2011. He's played second, short, played the outfield. And this ball's driven toward left. And that ball is going to be caught. A late diving catch by Johnny Gomes, who was surprised that that ball found another gear off the bat of Reed Brignac. That saved a run. And it sends our game to the 9th inning, 6-2 Marlins. It is going to be Steve Cishek who's on to pitch. It's not a save situation. The lead's too big for him.
This was game 2, the game the Braves won 12-2. He came in to get some work, and the Braves made him pay for it. There he is. He worked a third of an inning, gave up 2 hits and 2 walks, and all 4 base runners that reached scored. So that's why his ERA is at 33, and at 1 inning or a partial inning at a time, it'll take him a while to whittle him down.
And he's got the middle of the Braves order to contend with here in the 9th. Freeman, Bethancourt, and Kelly Johnson.
Sinker, slider. That slider's kind of a sweeper that he uses on right-handed hitters a lot.
And as we said in South Florida, all elbows, all kneecaps, and the back of the shoulders.
6'5", 225.
Steve out of Falmouth, Mass. A 5th round pick back in 2007. One of 3 Marlins in the history of their franchise with back-to-back 30-plus save seasons. Fly ball hammered center. Ozuna back and there. And again, Freeman hits it to the deepest part of the park with no luck. 1 out.
His average doesn't reflect it, but Freddie's hitting the ball right on the button. Just hope he doesn't change anything, trying to find a way to get him to drop in.
Troy Gloss, when he played here, had a great line for plays like that with Freddie Freeman, and we've used it before. You hit the ball, you are a producer, not a director. And all you do is hit it hard someplace. Oftentimes you don't know where it's going to go. That was the case for Freeman. Right back up the middle, but into the glove of the Marlins center fielder.
So you're saying that Woody could hit it like that, but Mike Miller couldn't?
Got it, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. 1 ball, 1 strike. Washington's underway in Boston. The Nationals lead the Red Sox 6-2. That game's in the 3rd inning. Gio Gonzalez and Wade Miley at Fenway Park. And a little flare into shallow center field. Ozuna will get there. Hung up there forever. And that's the 2nd out of the 9th inning. Stay tuned for Braves Live, presented by Xfinity. We'll hear from the Braves clubhouse, including skipper Freddie Gonzalez. Joe and I will join the crew to break down all of the action from our final game of this series with the Marlins. It's Braves Live, live from the ballpark, presented by Xfinity. Ball 1 to Kelly Johnson, who homered today.
Veteran move there. 2-0 count. Good hitters count. Down by 4. Make him throw me a strike. Kelly did.
And after a foul tip, the Braves are down to their last strike.
Yeah, they got to go to Toronto and string some hits together again. Get some early leads, which they were very good at in the first 7 games of the season, so they're not having to fight from behind quite so much.
Kelly Johnson swings and misses, and the Marlins have come to Atlanta and won a series. Danny Echeverria on his birthday was outstanding today. 3 hits, a homer, 2 runs, and 3 RBIs. And the Marlins will head to New York to start a series with a 3-6 record. The Braves will head to Toronto at 6-3.